Hi, I'm having my breakfast, my first meal of the day. So it's my breakfast. It's not actually breakfast meal, but because it's my first meal of the day, it's my breakfast. And I'm having this is rice noodles with smoked herrings. I have two types of mushrooms, and I have some chopped nuts. So having this. Normally, when I have my meal, I have nuts with it, and the nuts fill me up, so I don't have to eat often. I don't have to eat often. I don't have to eat often because the nuts fill me up. So if I have this right now, and I won't have anything to eat until later this evening, I'll mostly drink something to quench my thirst, but I won't eat. I will be full for the rest of the day with this. So I'm having rice noodles with smoked herring and mushrooms, two types of mushrooms, and chopped nuts. That's what I'm having. It's not a lot, but it's very filling. So, and I have these mushrooms. They're really crunchy. These mushrooms, they're crunchy, and the other type is very chewy. Salad, delicious. And I have some nuts in it. I have walnuts and almonds. It's really spiced. I like spicy food. Born and raised in it. Mm, That's what I'm having. And I normally have something to drink before I eat. I'm having a really small glass of cranberry juice with half a lime squeezed in it. I'm going to be eating this afterwards. Mm, Very good. And I also prepared this. This is spiced, a concoction of spices that I made tea with. And once I'm done drinking the tea, what's left over, I put it in my bath and I soak in it. Good for your health, inside and out. So this is from my spiced tea, and I'll be soaking in it. Very good. It was in the fridge, so it's there. Now, Moses spent 40 years in the desert. Moses. Moses spent 40 years in the desert rubbing his lamp. And then one day, the bush caught fire. One day, the bush caught fire, and he heard the voice of God. He heard the voice of God. Moses. Anyhow, I got my beetle, my beetle, my beetle, my beetle, my beetle. So I rub my lamp too. This lamp, the one in my head, that's the one I rub. A person can sit idle and do nothing, or they can sit and think, come up with ideas, and apply them. I am going to. Today is humid. It is humid. It is humid. We're in summer. It's humid. I'm going to be eating while I'm talking. This one, chewy. This is a piece of mushroom. This one is chewy. It is really hot today. This is another type of mushroom. This one is crunchy. Mm. I just feel like eating. Oh, I'm gonna eat. I really like the crunchy mushroom. It is so hot, humid. Oh yeah, I put some mint, fresh mint in this. I put some fresh mint in this. In the summer, it's humidity, and in the winter, it's cold. Lord, only the good Lord knows. I was thinking, um, when somebody's going through a process, they'll blame sometimes. They'll blame. But the Bible said that God is going to give them an unexpected end. And the fact that life is a process, and if everything is going on for my good or a person's good, I was thinking, when a woman is pregnant, no matter how painful the pregnancy is, no matter how painful the delivery is, do they ever blame anybody? And giving birth is painful. Giving birth is painful. A C section is painful after the delivery. I'm just thinking, like how some people will blame if they're going through a process, they'll blame sometimes. But I'm thinking, have a woman ever blame anybody for the pain that she goes through during pregnancy and the delivery? I'm asking this because I was thinking about this, and I was watching somebody going through a delivery of a baby, and it was so painful. They were in labor for hours. They were induced. They were screaming. And I never heard them said, the devil did it. Yet it was painful. If only, if only sometimes a person will sit and think of life process as a pregnancy. You know, normally a human pregnancy is 9 months, but sometimes the process of life to get us where we uh, should be to our destiny, it could be years. It could be years. It's like going to school. You don't go to school one day and get your diploma or whatever degree the next day. It's a process, and it's hard. You have to study, you have to go to classes, you have to study, but because the end goal of walking across the stage, receiving that diploma, that degree, whatever the case may be. And sometimes it can be hard because of other people. I'm not going to blame. I'm not going to say what I want to say because I don't want to make it sound like I'm blaming. But sometimes you can find people that would give you a really hard time when you're going through your studies. Really hard time. But it is the end goal, the end goal. I remember I was taking a class and there was so much reading. At one point, I got really, really tired. The readings were good, but they were a lot. They were a lot of reading. And I got to the point where I was so tired. And one morning I woke up and I was thinking, I'm like, today I really don't feel like going in. I'm too tired. I got up, I thought about it, and then eventually I felt in my spirit to just get up and go. If I get up, do my part, then the universe will do its part. And that's what I did. I did that. I got up, got ready. I literally was dragging myself into class. And as I was walking in, I encountered another student. And this person, they said to me, they just gave me a booster shot. They just told me, like, think of the end goal. And that, they made my day. And I just from hearing that the person said, think of the end goal. Just from hearing that, I picked myself up and I was able to continue throughout the day. I was still feeling tired, but I was different. I felt different. I felt a little bit more energy to just continue on until the rest of the day. And there were times I got to a point where I was so tired of reading. I felt like when I was reading a paper, I could feel like the words, they just hit my brain and slide right down. But I kept focusing on that end goal, and thinking this is the process that I have to go through to get to the end goal, which is that degree. This is the process that I have to go through to get to the end goal. And when I encountered individual who gave me a hard time, I saw them as catalysts. I told myself, okay, if this person is here, whether they're doing it intentionally or not, I'm going to keep my focus. I don't know if they're doing it intentionally or not, but whatever the case is, I am going to keep my focus to the end goal. And that's what I did. I kept my focus on the end goal because God promised to give me an unexpected end. But to get to that unexpected end, I had to go through the process. And that process involved really hard times, and not only hard times from myself, but also it took other individuals coming into play. And like I said, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but there were other individuals that came into play. And I could see the part that they were playing, and I saw my part. My part was to keep my focus on the end goal. So whoever came into play, as hard as it might have been, or challenging, or whatever obstacle, whatever the case was, I just kept my focus. I just I thought of it this way. I just said, this person is here to do their part. And again, whether it's intentional or not, I just let them do their part and I do my part. Because I remember no one can set a block for anybody unless you allow them to. So, whatever the obstacle was that another person may have placed in my way, I would find a way to overcome. Actually, there was one paper that I read, and this paper really got me thinking. I read the paper, and it was an eye opener. It was about ants, how determined ants are, and how they carry more weight than their own body weights. That was really an eye opener for me. Sometimes it's amazing the lessons that I learn from nature. From nature, like especially the trees in the wintertime. The trees, they would lose all their leaves. Not all of the trees, but most of the trees would lose all their leaves. And the pine trees, they don't lose their needles. What happened to the pine trees is that they shed. Just around fall, some of the pine trees, they would have, some of the pines would dry up. And right before winter, a strong wind will blow, and all the dry pines, all the dry needles, excuse me, all the dry needles on the pine trees, when the wind is blowing, a really strong wind will blow. And when that wind blows, all the dry needles on the pine trees, they fall to the ground. They fall to the ground because they don't lose all their pines, their needles, excuse me, they don't lose all their needles. But the trees that have flat leaves, they tend to lose all their leaves. And during the winter, I watched what happened during the winter. What will happen is that the trees that lose all their leaves, if there is freezing rain, the twigs will be coated with the freezing rain. And it's not like, because they don't have leaves, it takes away a little bit of the weight from the buildup of the ice on the trees. If the trees had all their leaves, and imagine all the buildup of ice on the leaves, on the twigs, on the branches, it would be too much weight for the tree. So the tree would most likely, this is not to say that the trees don't lose branches, but most likely they would have lost more branches. But because they don't have leaves, it's just the branches and the twigs. So the trees are able to stand up. And what happened with the pine trees also, because they shed during the winter, what I noticed is that when it's snowing, there's not a lot of buildup of snow on the pine trees, because the snow has space to fall through the pine tree, because the pine tree shed and left space for when the snow is falling. The snow fall through the pine tree. So there's some buildup on the pine trees, but there's not too much buildup. Because again, if there was all the needles were left and the snow would build up, that would create a weight, which would be too much for the tree also. So little things like that. I like to watch what happen in nature, and how the four seasons. I love to watch the four seasons, how the trees change color in the fall. The trees will, the leaves, actually the leaves, they would change color in the fall before they actually fall to the ground in the autumn season. In the autumn season, before the leaves fall to the ground, they change colors, and that is so 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 beautiful. Like for people who doesn't live in a country where there's four seasons, um, it's different. I love to see that, and I love to learn from nature. Nature has so much to teach us, so much to teach us. And again, you can sit and literally rub the lamp physically, or you can really, really, really rub the lamp. It is really humid today, so I'm gonna go out. I have some things to do. I have to go prepare for something, so I have some work to do. So I am going to prepare, go do some work. My hair is natural, so all the curls are in there. I'm not putting any straightener in my hair. I'm just gonna leave it just as it is. No straightener, no color, just like that. I'm gonna leave it like that. Go rub that lamp. Bye. Mwah.